Everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Episode 7, Driftmark, was much better than I expected. It started off slow, but it built into something that I really enjoyed. And then even after, like, when we reach like what would have been the pinnacle of our regular TV show episode, there was still like 15 minutes more. So I really enjoyed it. So instead of doing a review, this is the season 1 episode 7 inside the episode. You'll get this on the Game of Thrones official YouTube channel, and I usually like to run through this just to give you my quick thoughts on it. So let's dive into inside the episode.
This episode feels like a darker time in the world of House of the Dragon. The Targaryens burn their dead with dragons when their time passes, so the Valerians commit their dead to the sea.
Enembar masti ba embryod amozil.
Decent.
This was one of the first scenes that we filmed. It's interesting to see it at this
I
point in the
like how
story
we've got
because they
so
don't really
many
know each other that
dragons
well,
to
and
show
they
you
do
how
feel a
many
bit
people, like, in that
estranged.
one
They're on different
location.
pages. Everybody's here in this alien place at a funeral, and nobody really knows how to feel or act, and it works really well for the episode because it does just set everybody apart in a way.
Emma actually, but has to be one of the best
It's a very
actors
long
out there
scene.
right now.
I think there's about 5
after people
different
see
kind of
behind
little
this.
stories happening in a set of about 40-50 people.
Young Aemond.
They haven't seen each other since he banished him again for robbing his daughter's innocence and saying horrible things to him. But Viserys has gone through some stuff and his health is failing, and I think he's feeling more like he wants family around him now than he
Viserys
probably
is a
was
very,
when he
very
sent Daemon
forgiving
away.
king.
It's time that you
One
came
of the
out.
best kings that I think Westeros will ever have.
Brother.
The multitude of conversations are really about a family that has been somewhat blown apart, trying to find solace in each other, trying to a certain extent to forgive each
This
other
was a nice scene.
for all their past wrongdoings.
Where Corlys's
And yet, in the
granddaughters
center of that
held on
is
to,
Rhaenyra and
Rhaenyra's
Daemon.
son Han, showed the togetherness, like they
Here
trust
they
one
are
another.
together, both
They
having
want to
lost someone,
support one
both
another.
grieving, and the chemistry between them is as strong as before.
There's a kind of massive, unprocessed, unresolved
Rhaenyra has some of
boulder
the best
in
scenes
the room.
when it comes to these
Abandonment
wide-angle
is something that
shots.
just seems to happen
Like
on
walking on the
repeat
beach
to
is
her.
another one
This happens
similar
with her
to
mum, it
I think
happens
last
with her
episode
dad, it
episode
happens with
before,
Alison, it happens
with
with
her
Damon, and looking
um,
that wound in the eye, I think, is what happens in
and her
the scene.
husband was walking
Rhaenyra
along
and
the
Damon are
beach.
made of the same stuff. It's why they're a terrible match. Added to which, when Rhaenyra is made heir, she essentially takes everything from Damon, and yet her attraction goads her to go to the heart of that envy. I think there's a dangerous chemistry.
I really thought someone would have found him, like how we see Aemon here.
We
so
really
he's
did
actually
want to
going after the
dramatize
dragon, right?
the
But I
claiming
actually
of a
thought he was
dragon
going to
and
stumble
this little
upon his
kid
mother
on
there
the
in that
biggest
point
dragon
in
in the
time.
world.
Not
Felt
his
like the
mother.
best way to do that.
What would be his,
He's the only kid on that side
his
without a
sister?
dragon, and he desperately
Stepsister?
wants one, and he's been picked on and bullied for not having one. So I think he finds himself at this funeral feeling alone and detached, and sees an opportunity and then goes and seizes it.
Considering how they portrayed him to be kind of a coward in the episode before.
Aemon is quite an introverted, sad kid who's gone through many hardships. Obviously, when he gets that dragon,
The only thing
his
is, I
mood
thought
changes and
the
he feels
scale
like
of
he
him
can
on
do
the
anything he
dragon,
wants.
I thought that was a bit
And
off.
that's where that
because they
villain
made,
comes into play.
It's him.
They made the previous rider look
Vhagar
so
is my
small,
mother's dragon.
Vhagar has a new rider
making the
now.
dragon obviously
There's a lot of
bigger.
tension between those two sides of the family, and this is one of the ways that it boils over. That's their mother's dragon. They grew up their whole life around that dragon, and to see somebody from the other side claim it at her funeral, I think it's a real slight.
It's not something normal.
Even
it's
though
5
they
kids
portrayed-
absolutely battering each other.
He's correct.
It's
Even though
mental.
Aemon was supposed to be like the lame one in the previous episode, he took on the 4 of them, eh?
It's all fun and games until somebody loses an eye.
True.
Rhaenyra comes into the Hall of Nine, and suddenly there's a clarity. The greens and the blacks just solidify in a way that they hadn't done before. Who did this?
Don't touch me! He attacked
Silence!
He's a leaner Damon. I always liked the idea that he sort of leans. It felt like he was happy to watch them all implode.
For real.
It's a strange thing because his son's had his eye taken out in a fight with his daughter's children. Again, family stuff, you know. Viserys has a soft spot and an
I
affection
miss
for
Paddy Considine
Rhaenyra.
whenever he dies.
And even
whether
that
it be the
affects
next
his
episode
marriage,
or at the
that
end
he
of the
doesn't
season.
stand up for his own children.
He really wants the
For
best
Alicent,
for his family.
it's finally boiling over
whether it
all
be
these
Valyrian or
years
Targaryen.
of playing that proper, I will not express myself emotionally in any way, shape or form, and she loses her shit. And it's a joy to watch.
Alicent wants an eye for an eye.
Your Grace. Alicent, stay with the king! Hold your ground!
I don't think Rhaenyra is scared of violent pain, and so she's in a position to kind of goad Alicent towards the outcome she's seeking. Now they see you as you are.
I thought there should have been some type of repercussion
That
for this
place
scene,
of abandonment is
for Alicent.
healed.
Even though she
Rhaenyra
is the
is
queen,
found by
for cutting
Daemon, and it allows her to
or
back
letting the blood
herself
flow
and back
from
her
the
family,
princess's
and
hand.
sort of walk straight at the accusations as
I like
opposed
the
to trying
scene,
to shield from them.
showing you like who's on Rhaenyra's side.
There is a shift that happens with the death of his sister. When someone you love dies, you start to think about your own life and what you want the rest of it to be. And I think he does have this moment of clarity where he goes,
This was our
I'm going to be the
beautiful
person
scene.
that I thought I
Showed
was
you how
going to
good
be.
of a person Rhaenyra really is. Even
What
though
Lena
the
really
show tries to
wanted was to
portray
be set
both sides
free.
as being a little deceitful.
And freedom to him is
Rhaenyra
freedom
is-
from
you
the bonds
could
of
tell
his
she's
nobility.
good
So
at
if he
heart.
was thought to be dead, that would mean he could go live a free life however he wanted.
Tricky scene. This was way better than I expected. Like I didn't expect that. How they played it out. I really
Rhaenyra
thought
and Daemon
that
bond together and
they
make a
had me
marriage
doubting how
pact.
good, as I
It's
said, Rhaenyra
Targaryen with
is.
Targaryen
They had
in
me
the old
doubting that
ways,
if
you
she
know,
would
marrying
really
within the
have her
bloodline to
husband
keep
killed.
it pure.
And then to see what her and Daemon actually put in place, you know, it shows how good of a person Rhaenyra really is.
This consummating of their relationship brings with it all the obstacles. Suddenly, with Daemon by her side, Rhaenyra becomes more formidable.
Correct.
It tells us that Rhaenyra is not going away.
I like this like her outfit for, well, what will be her wedding dress. Right, so inside the episode is really just, it's like a director's cut of an episode. So my initial thoughts is, one, with the wedding, I wonder if she told anyone other than their children, because only her children are really there and Daemon's two girls are there. So I'm really interested to see who knows about it and what will be the king's reaction. Maybe that's what kills the king. And they didn't show any of this inside the episode. But one of the other things too is we could see there are two main villains of the show. And maybe 2.5 or maybe 2.1, because Sir Kristen, the man is just, he's like a lover scorned. So, and he's not really a real threat. But just to have him there, he's just like this annoying pest in the background who just kind of stokes the fire whenever Alicent backs. But Larys, who is the cross between Littlefinger and Varys from Game of Thrones, so it's not Littlefinger, he is Middlefinger now. He is like the hidden villain, not really so hidden, but in the background of everything. He's always there lurking in the background. And the other main villain will be Otto Hightower. He is the one manipulating his daughter, even though she's a big ass woman now. He's still the one manipulating her, in my opinion. Because Viserys, King Viserys, he just wants peace. He just wants everyone to live happily. Rhaenyra will rule. Probably she would wed. He probably would have give her the option like, yo, well, let's join your step siblings or whatever. The kids, let's just join everybody and marry them off. And you have 2 sons. I have 2 sons. Daemon have 2 daughters. Let me figure it out. Corlys will probably give us some more children, and we find family and just keep joining everybody. But Alicent and Otto doesn't want that. They just want their kids to be in power, and it shows how hungry Otto really is. I could be misreading the entire thing. So the episode itself started off very slow for probably the first half hour, but when it picked up real quick. I was surprised that how fast that Daemon and Rhaenyra got hitched. Like, I didn't expect them to, like, on the night of your wife's funeral, way. Daemon or Israel pressure, yes. So the show is consistent in pacing. Like, they don't stick. Every episode there's a time jump. Last episode of this one, there wasn't much of a time jump. We're gonna have another big time jump. But in terms of pacing, like, Damon didn't waste time. Like, yo, my wife died probably like 3 or 4 days ago. Today's the funeral. 12 hours later, he is sleeping with Rhaenyra on a beach in an old shipwreck. And probably the next day or 2 days after, they get married, like, on another beach on rocks and shit like that. So yeah, the pacing is consistent, and yeah, this has to be probably one of the best shows, if not the best show on TV right now, because Lord of the Rings is still lacking. The last episode was pretty good. Yellowstone, I think, is coming back in a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months. So House of the Dragon for the win. I don't know how else to look at it. So yeah, that's inside the episode. Definitely go and check it out on the Game of Thrones official YouTube channel, so you get that insight to what the directors were really thinking, what could be some of the motivations behind some of the scenes, and what they were thinking, what the actors are actually thinking, who they're portraying, what they believe they're doing it for, because sometimes they say one thing and I see it a different way. So anyway, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought about inside the episode for episode 7, and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notifications anytime I post